Recently, I went out and decided to take my own headshot, all by myself. Normally, you get someone else to do it for you, but I wanted to do it on my own, finding a location, setting up the camera, everything. Now, I have a friend who normally helps me with these kind of things, but I wanted to remind myself how uncomfortable putting yourself in front of the camera can be. I've taken my own headshots before, but always indoors. This time, shooting myself in public, it really made me think about why we're so uncomfortable with headshots. Now, I don't mean the embarrassment of shooting yourself. I mean, half of YouTubers will tell you about how self-conscious you can feel when you're shooting a selfie and talking to a camera in front of everyone. No, I'm talking more about the discomfort of a professionally taken headshot, the kind people often look at and see almost as an official version of you. We've all seen the American presidential headshots, and we often view them as, the official representation of them. And normal folks like us have to get them too at some point, and usually it's a business type of headshot, which is what I was taking for myself. I was thinking about why I often don't like looking at my own headshots, same as many people often don't. What about them that can make them feel so discomforting? And I think it's because they can feel so official. Like casual snapshots you take at a party or on vacation, somehow those just don't count as representations of you. They're snapshots of moments that you were a part of, but they aren't about you. Now, the first thing anyone will focus on is, of course, their physical flaws. And for me, I was born with double eyelids, but after a sports injury as a kid, my left eyelid flipped to a single lid. And for a time, I actually used eyelid tape and glue anytime I went to an audition or had my headshot taken. And while it naturally did flip back recently, my concern about it faded way longer before that. And it's for one simple reason, the reason that's probably going through your mind. You didn't notice. And if you did somehow notice, you probably didn't care. And while there's an argument that most of our impressions of others are subconscious, and so my non-symmetricality has affected my life, I mean, there's only so much an eyelid can. No, I don't think it's the physical presentation of us that really bothers us about headshots. For me, sometimes I'm more worried about who that stranger is. Photos are such a human-created artifact, a still image of a living being frozen in time, and that's not a thing that happens naturally. And so I'd argue that our brains aren't really made for it. We see the snapshot of a person moment in a moment in time, and that somehow still continuously exists in our time, and we have no choice but to do what we would do to a real human being in front of us. We judge it, whether positively or negatively, we make an impression of it. And if our impression of that person in the photo doesn't match with the image we've had of ourselves from our internal perspective, it becomes really discomforting. First, we might get anxious. Is that how I really come off? Do I really look that uptight? Do I look that tired? I mean, for some, it might touch a nerve, especially if that stranger in the photo comes off as someone we don't like. Even a hint of self-reflection can hit some of us pretty hard. And as an actor who's had to take headshots over the years, I actually think it's giving me an advantage in life. I no longer take headshots too personally anymore, if that makes sense. To me, a headshot is just a tool. It's meant to advertise that this is the look and persona I have, or at least can have. I'm as emotionally attached to my headshot as the average real estate agent is to their business card. If I'm applying for a job at an office, I'll make sure to put this one into my LinkedIn. I'm not too worried about the photo forcing me to do some internal soul searching, because as an actor, you kind of have to already done that. As long as I don't think the headshot is an outright lie about who I am, it's just a tool. I try not to get too attached. Hopefully that perspective was helpful in some way for you, if you needed it. For the photographers out there, I highly recommend getting your portrait done the same way you do for others, just to get a sense of the concerns your subject might have. To the next video, happy shooting out there.